Hey yo, it is your truly, Lumore Decina, aka Mr. Cool Spot, aka the lyrical storyteller, aka the Gator. Chilling here today with my lovely co-host.
What's
Sharita
up,
Freeman.
y'all?
What's up?
You just gonna say Sharita Freeman every time, huh? I just,
chilling here with my
I
lovely
can't
co-host.
never go with my alias. You know
I'll let her do that. Chilling here with my lovely co-host today.
Hey y'all, it's Sharita Freeman, aka
Sharita Freeman, like I said.
How y'all doing?
All right. So Free today's gonna be a good day.
It is. It's a good build.
It's a good build that we're gonna have today. We're gonna talk about the holidays,
right?
Because again, the title,
right? Fearful or cheerful holidays.
Cheerful holidays.
But it's not holidays. It's holidays.
And there was a play on the words. I don't know if y'all caught that. But there was a play on words.
I worked hard for that play on words, guys. Okay,
she
It was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "A days." Like when you're in a days.
Like when you're in a days, I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
Right.
Yeah.
But that's important though, right? Because everybody, when we get stuck into this holiday spirit, some people are super joyful, but not everybody's super joyful. Everybody's approach to holidays isn't the same. Mm-hmm. And so when talking about holidays or being in a daze or being in a haze, which a lot of times are very similar, we have to talk about what it is specifically. Mm-hmm. So to be in a daze is someone unable to think or react properly. So you are doing stuff stupidly or being bewildered. So when you're in a daze, like people, when you think about holidays, you think about shopping, and people are spending thousands and thousands of dollars that they don't have, or racking up credit cards. Is it because they truly just want to be cheerful, or is it that they feel that they have to, or are they combating something?
Right.
Like what else is going on? So let's go into the dynamics, because as we know, guys, okay, we here at the Cool Spot, we're facts first. Feeling second. Shout out to Rebelize Vintage for the shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. So Lamar, what do you think about when it comes to the holidays? Are you instantly elated? Are you sad? Are you happy? What are you thinking?
I mean, I'm not. Me personally.
Yeah.
I'm not really all that big on the holidays. You know what I mean? Every day's a holiday. I feel like, when we have it, we have it. When we want to plan something, we plan something, and it shouldn't be based on just one day out of the year. You know what I mean? Or a few days out of the year, and considering Christmas and everything else people celebrate. But I'm not really big on holidays. I don't really post about holidays much. I'm real simple. I live a real simple life.
You are not average Joe. What about y'all? Are y'all big on holidays? Are holidays big?
For my prayer audience, you're not big on holidays, right? When you're gonna plan something, you're gonna plan something. It's not about one day out of the year and none of that. It's just, what about you guys right here? Cheers, you got a big family.
I want the same vibe with you, bro. Every day is a blessing, So, ain't no, nah.
Yeah.
And all these holidays they're not the truth anyway. So
I mean, yeah, we get the pagan, but there's a lot of people that they look past the pagan holidays, and they look at it for the sole purpose of bringing people together. Because some people may not see family members for years.
Right.
In
holiday time, they have time off for certain jobs closed.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
what about
and I support that. I support something like that, though. Yeah.
Well, I'm team holidays, guys, okay? Yeah. While I know everybody else ain't team holidays, but not for the aspect of, what the world says, but the family portion, like the spending extra time. I mean, y'all know I still want to go, and so I'm gonna go see everybody anyway. But being able to slow down and to be in that moment and to not like just rush to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then my job pays me to be on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They give me extra, they give me a whole week and a half, guys. Thank you. So also loving that portion.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing though. There's, I think there's the pros and cons to it, depending on the person, the individual, their upbringing, what they find value in, things like that I think plays a major part. People like us, the handful that's in here, like they're like, we're gonna plan, right? And it's no big deal. But some people are actually affected by the holidays, and that's why we wanted to bring this up, because we understand that the holiday season, like Free started off with, she said something along the lines of how some people they may just be doing it just because it may bring happiness to their loved ones, or but they may not have it financially. You know what I mean? Or it may be some other reasons why they may not be able to, or they may be interested in it as much, but they're doing it for the sake of bringing the happiness amongst the people that they're around. You know, and for the people like that, I think the issue's a lot bigger when they're not real and honest with themselves. So we kind of have like a list of things that people deal with during the holiday season, and what's the diagnosis called? Sad. What's the sad? What's that?
So you're gonna make me tell a story. Dang it. It's seasonal affective disorder. Which a lot of times we talk about it in the winter months, but as we're coming up on the winter months, sad happens because of like lack of sun. So the sun is out less. A lot of people are more sad, more likely to be depressed and anxious. So with that season changing, and that comes along with the holidays. So there's some people that are super cheerful about it, about the holidays, but then there's some that recluse. And so when they get into that recluse thing, there are a couple different things that happen. As some of us have been noticing in the news, you have some people that are, you know, unfortunately flipping the switch and on the mental health side. So because there's increased stress that happens during this time frame. People that deal with anxiety, a lot of times it becomes worsened. People that are depressed or become depressed, and relationship challenges. For those people, think about like the times we've heard about somebody having a breakup near Christmas. It ruined everything. It ruined their idea, their plan. And so people are more in tune with their emotions if they're lonely, if they're not lonely, if they're truly happy. So the holidays and mental health go hand in hand, because then you see people that are raging alcoholics. That starts becoming more noticeable. Those using drugs. I mean, and it could be to cope, because now everything is supposed to be happy. And controlling of food, like people are either skipping to make the next thing occur, or they're overindulging.
And you know, some of what this looks like too is like some people that indulge in the drugs, the end result for them may be like liver disease or cardiovascular disease, strokes, cancers. You know, if they go deeper into the needles, you know, cross-contamination can lead to HIV/AIDS. You know what I mean? Things like that happen. You know, alcoholism, develop a tolerance to alcohol and experience withdrawal symptoms between binges. And, you know, there's a lot that goes with alcoholism. There's a lot with that. You have people with the relationship challenges amongst family. You know, there's some examples that show how some family just can't see eye to eye when it comes to religion, you know, politics, things like that causes anxiety, which also kind of throws people off and raises the depression levels. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of factors that goes into like the holiday seasons, and why a lot of people tend to stay away from it, or they find ways to cope, like you just said.
Or when they feel like they can't cope. And so now they're contemplating self-harm, suicide, and or murders. Just like the Walmart in Virginia, the guy, he killed 6 of his fellow employees and himself. And he wrote a note about it and apologized, like, you know. So I think we have to think about what those things look like, because you can see somebody that looks happy in one moment and the next is doing something heinous. So how are we truly coping? Are we working through issues, or are we masking them? So the holiday season makes it easy for us to do either one. Because it gets darker earlier. It's okay to be recluse, right? Nobody's really checking. Everybody's like, unless you know, like somebody has absolutely no family. You're like, oh, you okay? But how many times do people go off the radar because you have so many people coming in, so many people visiting, or you're going somewhere else? So we're not really always checking in on people.
And you said you hit on something earlier, because a lot of us don't realize how much light plays a part in our decision making and our behaviors as human beings. You know what I mean? Like a lack of vitamin D, being vitamin D deficient plays a major part. And I put together this, you know, I'm real big on like notes and presentations and stuff. So you guys kind of going to get like, I was telling Free, not in a literal sense, but I love rabbit holes. You know what I mean? I love to go down a rabbit hole to kind of understand, you know, not literally, you know what I'm saying? But I love to be drawn somewhere where you could actually explain the processes to how things happen and what gets me to that end result. You know what I mean? Like I like the show, what's the show called? How Does It Work? How Does Things Work? It used to come on the History Channel, I think. And
I
they,
think so.
you know,
I think it was How Things Work.
How Things Work or something like that, where they go through and they test out different theories and figure out, you know, what makes things function and work, you know, how stuff like that.
You want the whole picture, the vivid picture, not
the
just
whole picture,
not a quick answer. You're like, no. Give me the whole story, the
picture.
backstory, what happened, the temperature, all that. I need to know everything.
Yeah. So, but with before we move on though, what are you guys' thoughts about as far as, you know, what was just shared in the intro? Have you been affected by the holidays?
I can say for me, holidays is when our family got together, and because the families passed away, no one really keeps the tradition anymore. You know? So for me, I grew up in a family where we'll cook in our house, and we'll bring a dish to grandma's house, and everybody sit, we'll pray, we finish Thanksgiving, we'll pray, we say we thank you for it. So for me, family is much more than just the holiday. It's the time that we go together. But the fact that now that's our grandmothers and some and our parents going out, no one's really keeping up. But I think I still have that old gene in me where I am the one covering everybody. All everybody.
That's good.
And like, for example, on my holidays, we'll say Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is my time where I reflect on my mother, my grandmother, my brother, and my dad who just passed away. So I think about all the great memories and so like that. So it's a way that even though family not together, I still do my due diligence to check on everybody. But then because I'm in a different state, I still take time to call and check on everybody. At the same time, I still honor my thanks to God and to my family that passed on and the memories they left. So it's a different way that I handle it. So it's not depressing. It's still it's still the way that I give back and honor honor God and my parents and the loved ones who set the milestones so I continue to be the next generation. So that's a different way that I view it, you know.
So you're the anchor of the family.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I mean, it's like I'm the brother, but then I'm a younger cousin. And I have uncles, but I'm the one that still
keep everybody together.
You become the glue.
As my grandmother said, the monarch. So that's So I just like the lesson they left behind. So that's what I say. Honor my parents and those women before me. Because now I'm still here to still hold those pieces to the puzzle now.
Okay.
That's good, man. That's good. And I mean, everybody needs that balance. You know, life happens, man, and we'll get into why we tend to kind of turn along the time, like because in a year's time we're going to this permanent, daylight savings time. And a lot of people don't know how that's going to affect us. So starting, I think March 2023. We're going to permanently be on a daylight savings schedule, right? There's been a bill that's been passed for it, and we're going to talk about that at the end of this right here too. But I think what we got to understand is, again, how the ultraviolet light from the sun affects us. And you got cortisone levels that keep us aware and awake during the day. We have melatonin that keeps us sleep at night, right? So if we're out of whack, the body has what's called a circadian rhythm. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, right? So the circadian rhythm is the master clock of the body. So you have daytime, nighttime. You have times of the day where our body's releasing cortisol, and we have times of the night where our body's releasing melatonin. If that's interrupted, the pineal gland could actually trigger the cortisol at night while we're trying to sleep, because we want to be on social media all night. You know what I'm saying? In front of a screen, so the light's triggering the pineal gland. Pineal gland is saying, all right, hold off on the melatonin. Let's go ahead and start releasing a little bit of cortisol at a time. Now we're up, but the body's asleep, the body's tired. Mentally, we're up. You see what I'm saying? All because of the power of light, right? So there's what's called light therapy, is what all this boils down to. And light therapy is actually beneficial for people that have
sad.
That's sad.
That deal with sad.
That deals with sad. Bipolar. People that are bipolar, they go through light therapy too. And they found that people that have bipolar disorder, they improve their processes by 30% by just going through light therapy. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of good nuances. There's a lot to this, right? And but I want to first interact with you guys before we go in, because we're going to take little breaks to get y'all's thoughts, and then we're going to just keep building on this information here too. So any other thoughts about family, anybody been affected by the holiday? Anybody is looking at the holidays at the time, a special time for themselves or their family. Or why do you do the holidays? Or you just, we already did that.
We did it. We ready for the new year.
We did for the new year. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go into this, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to break down the circadian rhythm. All right. So the circadian rhythm is going to be something that it's going to sum everything up. This is going to be the core of today's session. And I think we're going to do a part 2 on the 10th, December 10th. We're going to bring this back, same topic, same subject matter, do our part 2, which will give you guys the other half, which is everything that we opened up with, and also the crime rate and why that happens as well. Then at the end of the year, just for the sake of people that are watching, the end of December, we're going to close out with HIV/AIDS awareness. Absolutely. You know, years ago, I did a HIV/AIDS awareness tour. And I went out to different churches and places and I spoke about it, did a whole presentation on it. It was dope. You know what I mean? I still have that information and I want to just kind of, you know, show our reference. Yeah. Of, you know, just, hey, saying, hey, we see y'all and we're with y'all. You know what I mean? And we're gonna close out the year with that for our last show in December.
Because December is HIV and AIDS Awareness Month.
AIDS Awareness Month.
So we want to make sure we're being relevant and giving good content and good information.
That's it. All right, so here we go. The circadian rhythm notes. All right, here we go. How many know what ultraviolet radiation from the sun produces in our bodies? What is
D, right?
Vitamin D.
Absolutely.
We in there. All right. So we starting off on the good foot. Here we go. All right. So, but there's a visible and infrared spectrum that affects us, and we'll get to that. In every cell of our bodies, we have something called mitochondria. Right, mitochondria is present inside of our cells. These mitochondria are a powerhouse of a human body. They take fat, sugars, proteins from our foods and combine it with oxygen, converting it into energy for our cells and tissues such as our brains and muscles. Mitochondria have their own DNA that's crucial to this energy conversion process. Now, again, we just started from one place and now we're somewhere else. And I know some of y'all might be like, okay, where are we going with this? You know, how does this relate to the light therapy? Right. You know, so here we go. Our mitochondria is strengthened by the sun, which gives us vitamin D, right? If you're a vitamin D deficient, it means that the levels of your mitochondria counts are low. How does that affect us? Well, this signs includes fatigue, speech disorders, hearing difficulties, muscle weakness, heart problems, liver disease, bowel problems, inflammation, cancers, dementias, diabetes, and learning and so much more. Right? Let me see. In some cases, it could also end fatal. Right? These signs are caused by what's called oxidative stress. Think of an overworked engine that overheats, for an example. Did you know that eating takes energy out of the body? So the more that you eat, the more energy we consume, right? So again, if our mitochondrial levels are low, what happens after we eat heavy meals?
We probably just throw it as fat.
What do we get sleepy? We get sleepy, catch the itis, right? So that's the process, right? So when our mitochondrial levels are low, right, we eat. Because of oxidative stress, remember our body's always consuming energy. So if our body levels are low with the mitochondria, we eat something, consume energy, we catch the itis. That's pretty much how that works, right? So it says, where we at? It says, remember these are byproducts to being vitamin D deficient, not being plugged in with our natural sources like the sun. In fact, here's a fun fact for you. The average American spends 93% of our lives indoors. That's 87% of our life inside of a building, and another 6% on average inside of automobiles.
You sure that's not flipped? Because I stay in the car all the time.
You do stay in the car. Like, I'm a truck driver, so I'm over the road like all day.
Our numbers might be a little different, but
different
that's crazy to think that we spend that much time indoors.
Yeah.
But most of us don't like nature.
And that's the problem. We're poor. You know, we used to be like, especially for us, right? But especially for us, melanated people, right?
We need it.
We are one with the sun. You see what I'm saying? So for us, we naturally attract the energy and the energy that comes from the sun, right? And it feeds our body naturally. Some people have, they can only take so much, right? So for us, we lived outdoors.
It's vital for us to be outdoors.
Yeah. When I was a teen, like my daughter's 21, but when I was like in my up until like 15. I stayed outside. You couldn't keep me from my voice.
Yeah. Don't come inside till them street lights come on, okay?
Right. Man, I was barefoot and everything. You could. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Right.
But still.
After that, they tell you to go outside and go play.
Yeah, we were outside. outside.
So then, let me ask this question. So do we think that we can overheat our mitochondria, or can it overwork itself? And if so, can we cool it down? So let's talk about the cooling system, right?
Yep.
Here's where it all begins to come together. Oxidative stress in the mitochondria can be cooled down depending on whether it's day or night. That's melatonin. So that's what puts us to sleep. This is one of the strongest antioxidants that has been studied. It actually regulates, and it's twice as powerful as vitamin D. Melatonin is secreted at night from the pineal gland, then goes into the blood circulation into the cells. It is actively transported and then goes into the mitochondria to fulfill its duty to mop up very efficiently these antioxidant stress modules. This makes sense? Everybody following? All right, cool. Okay, so that's our nighttime process. But what happens during the day, right? During the day, what is our body doing? So the infrared radiation from the sun, we all talked about, actually goes into the mitochondria, and it is producing melatonin on site. This is what the science is now stating, is starting to discover, making it very interesting as to how much sunlight we are getting and what happens when we don't get enough. And also, I had a doctor say that while they say you should at least have 10 minutes of vitamin D a day, for us that are a little bit more melanated, we're supposed to have 20 minutes. Because it's a lot of us that are vitamin D deficient.
Yeah, I was told I was vitamin D deficient. I'm like, how? I work outside, bro. Like, what you talking about?
But you know what? We think think about if you're sitting or you're working outside or you're strapping something in real quick, are you really just sitting or actually just walking in the direct sunlight?
That's true.
We generally trying to find shade. It's hot. We sweating. It's like,
Yeah, but then like the science also talks about, and I don't know if I put that information in here, but it talks about just being out in the sun and being able to look around while you're getting that radiation back into the body, not just the body, but also your retinas, your eyes. You know what I mean? So like that's what really helps recharge the body and keeps the body on track with the circadian rhythm, right? Because again, remember, the sun lets off the radiation, right? The energy, but the energy hits our retinas, but then when it goes back into the pineal gland, remember there's a process that takes place, but cortisol plays a part during the day. And that's the thing that keeps us aware. That's the thing that keeps us up and running. Once we start to fade out from that, because our circadian rhythm, because we may not be getting enough sleep, good sleep, then our sleep pattern gets thrown off.
Oh, that's when I use that Red Bull to boost me back up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Temporarily.
The temporary boost, the unhealthy boost, guys. Don't do it.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Okay, so the circadian rhythm or the circadian cycle is a natural internal process that regulates sleep, wake cycle, and repeats itself roughly every 24 hours. It can also be referred to as any process that originates with an organism in response to the environment. These have 24-hour rhythms that are driven by a circadian clock, as they have been widely observed. So animals, plants, fungi, certain bacteria. So in a nutshell, it's our master clock, and it tells us and it governs how and when our body interacts with itself. So we talked about the melatonin portion earlier. What we know are that there are times of the day when when certain things tend to happen and times when things don't happen. So here's how the magic all comes together, okay? So science has shown that according to the circadian rhythm, the body begins to secrete melatonin into the blood around 9 p.m. while you're in dim lit and gradually increases during the night and then stops around 7:30 a.m. where cortisol now, those levels begin to peak as they go around the clock and finally die out at around the time the melatonin started to come on again about 9 p.m. So it's like our body telling us like, hey, like we can have our own work schedule and everything, but your body's like, nope, this is the schedule I am on. This is what you should do.
Well, actually, the body actually conforms to your environment. So if we're living and I'll talk about here coming up here soon, if we're living in a dark space all day long, then the body will actually conform to that. and you will be less productive. You'll be more prone to more physical ailments in the body. Just a lot of different effects that come with that. You know what I'm saying? So, but if we're active and we're outside and we're getting that intake of the sun, radiation from the sun, then it's actually it's more beneficial for us. But the body will conform to whatever it is that you're giving the body or you're presenting. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, you know what? Sometimes your body knows on its own. Like, I know if I'm at home and I'm working at home and I'm like, oh, I need some light. Like, I'm not productive enough. Like, let me get some natural sunlight in here. And so I think sometimes we never listen to those things in our body because our body's like, no, I'm going to tell you what I need. Like, go do this.
Yeah. That's good.
Me?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, guys.
Assuming...
Are you consuming a continuous amount of good sleep? Like, I know I have a horrible sleep pattern. Are y'all getting good sleep? Y'all getting steady sleep? Y'all doing 6 hours, 8 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours? You said 9?
No, the dialysis hours. So my dialysis starts at 6. I get off at 11, so that's my time I get the best sleep. And my body, because of the process, my body kind of shift around and I'm tired, and sometimes I'm up and got my energy, so it varies.
Okay, it varies.
I'm getting older, so I can get my sleep.
You get your sleep, right?
What about you?
I get about 8, 9 hours.
What?
I'll get up and work at 4:30, so I'll be asleep like 8, 9 hours.
8, 9 hours. When last time I got 8, 9 hours of sleep? Maybe yesterday in spurts. My aunt was like, "You need to rest." I'm like, "No, I'm fine." My body was like, "You said rest, night."
Right.
But a lot of times we're not getting good sleep. So let's go into the amount of sleep. Yeah. You'll notice that the fastest reaction. That your fastest reaction time is around 3:30 in the afternoon. Your highest alert time is around 10 a.m. in the morning, and the best coordination is around 2:30 in the afternoon. All these things are happening because the master clock that's coordinating all the smaller clocks to be on the same time. And all of this is also based on your environment. So if you live like a bat, then more than likely you have some physical stuff going on that someone in an active lifestyle that gets plenty of vitamin E might not have. So the goal is to align your circadian rhythm with reality or with nature. More so reality because a lot of us ain't in nature, right? So this affects the body's hunger hormones. This also affects the diet. These are involved in being hungry and with being satisfied, your body's temperature, your glucose, your metabolism, the pancreas, Basperin, which is a blood pressure hormone that determines when your blood pressure should be high and when it should be low. So obviously, you want it to be lower at night when the body is resting. There is also another major neurotransmitter. Cortisol, we talked about already. Insulin is involved in diabetes, aging, which is involved with adipose tissue and fat. And then, of course, just overall metabolism regulation, which is going to depend on what time of day it is. So what do we need to know? We need to know how to sync it back, right? Yeah. How do we get our rhythm back together? Yeah. So the body is hardwired, just like a computer, to be able to take the information from the environment and to change it internally, the circadian rhythm, so that it is synced to the environment. When light hits the eye, it specifically goes into the retina. Science knows that light that goes into the retina is hitting rods and cones and turns into neurons, which then projected back to the occipital lobe. I said that wrong. Occipital lobe?
Occipital, yeah.
Y'all know I'm country, my bad. And that is where we actually can understand and visualize and see things. Oh, that process happens fast. Y'all ever think about how we get from point A to point B? Like you were talking about that rabbit hole, like all that happens as soon as the light hits and you like, ooh, my eyes hurt. Well, it's bright.
And there's another thing that I didn't add in here too, where they talk about how if you're waking up in the middle of the night, the best way to have your light set up is to have it set low to the ground. Right, so you're aware of that, right? Because anytime we're outside, the light is reflecting up from downward, right? And when it hits our retina, it hits the bottom backside of our eyeball, right? And there's a science behind that. Why it's fine during the day, but you don't want that to happen at night because that's what triggers the pineal gland.
To wake up.
Yeah, to wake up. Well, actually, to stop releasing melatonin. And then triggers the cortisol level to start rising. So what they were saying was if you have a light like green light, not green light, but orange light or red light, keep it dimmed down at night, low to the ground. So you could have like like a light strip going around your room or under.
People start doing it under the beds and okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's the best way to not disturb your sleep in the middle of the night. If you have to get up, use the bathroom. I get up a lot at night, pee. I gotta piss, you know what I mean? I gotta get up and pee. So I be like, Grandpa? Yeah, I be feeling like it, man. But so like my sleep was always not really because I keep my blinds open and I got a little light coming from the outside, so that helps. But that'll help though. And that's what science is showing, that if you don't want to disturb your sleep, then set your lights up like that too. So go ahead.
Okay, so when the light hits the pineal gland, it tells it pretty much that it's daytime, and therefore the pineal gland does not make any more melatonin, because melatonin in the bloodstream is a signal to the cells that it's nighttime, sleepy nighttime, and it's time to go to bed. So this is how the circadian rhythm understands it's daytime versus nighttime. All that makes sense? Mm-hmm. All right. So when the pineal gland is triggered to shut off, cortisol is then released, and the mind is telling the body to wake up. But the body's tired, because if we ain't get no sleep, it's tired, it's exhausted, causing insomnia, which that's definitely something I deal with, guys. Yeah. My body like, woo, we awake though. It's 2 a.m. Like, I don't want to sleep. Yeah. Right. So then the body is out of sync, and we suffer from hypersomnia, and that's when it's daytime and we're still in the middle of our sleep, completely disturbing our sleep pattern. Okay. So all of this is important because of these things. There's a series of different studies that you can find that states a lack of sleep can contribute to delinquent behavior by adolescents. According to the Florida International University, FIU, research have long believed that self-control is a trait developed in childhood, influenced by genetics, socialization, and other developmental factors. Other ones state that sleep deprivation increases the likelihoods of teens will suffer from negative consequences, including an inability to concentrate, poor grades, drowsy driving incidences, anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, and even suicide attempts. The National Library of Medicine states that about human behavior, depression as a mental illness which leads to medical issues and health disorders have a series of negative effects on an individual's functioning, including feeling sad and thinking. It is originated from genetics, hormonal, or psychological factors, and it may be stressful environments or life conditions. Moreover, the disruption of the circadian rhythms can contribute to the beginning of depression. Thoughts of etiology of depression is complicated. Circadian factors might have a significant effect in the process, as a disturbance of circadian rhythm could be due to lighting conditions and lifestyles in individuals who are exposed to a wide range of mood disorders, including impulsivity, mania, and depression. As risk of violent crimes is increasing in individuals with depression after adjustment for familiar, social, ethnographic, and individual factors into
social demographic. Yeah, you're good.
Social demographic. Sorry, guys, y'all. I'm gonna laugh at myself always, guys. Okay. Social demographic and individual factors in the 2 studies. Its results can negatively affect public health through physical impairments, mental, behavioral, job impairments, educational, and risky behavior. So this brings it into a little bit of politics. So ask the question. That's you.
What's going on with the Sunshine Protection Act? That's what I was telling you guys about with the permanent daylight savings time. It's called the Sunshine Protection Act. Okay. Right. And act. I said app. Sunshine Protection Act. All right,
I'm pretty sure it's an app somewhere, guys.
Yeah, it's an app. So a CNN Health and the Recruiter article that I came across, it talks about the Senate passing the bill, right? And it says this: there's a reason the U.S. Senate unanimously passed the Sunshine Protection Act. Proponents say that extra daylight in the evening cuts down car accidents and crime. This is their theory. We're going to challenge that real quick, right? So proponents say that extra daylight in the evening cuts down the accidents and crime, and increase opportunities for commerce and recreation, as people prefer to shop and exercise during daylight hours. That's their theory. However, research has shown both heart attacks and fatal car accidents increase after the clock falls forward in the spring. Children also end up going to school in the morning while it's still dark, with disastrous consequences. When President Richard Nixon signed the permanent daylight savings time into our law in January 1974, it was a popular move, but by the end of the month, Florida's governor called for the law's repeal after 8 school children were hit by cars in the dark. Schools across the country delayed start times until the sun came up. By summer, public approval had plummeted, and in early October, Congress voted to switch back to the standard time. So this is the history of this whole idea, right? A similar backlash occurred when the U.S. first implemented daylight savings time in 1918 as a way to reduce demand for electricity usage by adding sunlight to the end of the day in response to World War I. Studies have since found little to no cost savings from this practice, so it was all a lie. The time switch was so unpopular that the law was repealed the following year. The United States tried permanent daylight saving times twice before, and it ended early. The UK tried once before, and that ended early. Russia tried it once, and that also ended early. India too, and they ended early too. Clerman said this was a reporter that put this article together. So you may be asking, what's the harm in daylight saving time? If I didn't give y'all enough, but there's more, right? There's more. All right. So when our internal clocks are offset, the solar daylight night cycle by evening, from the solar, okay, I'm sorry, let me start it over. When our internal clocks are offset from the solar day-night cycle by even 1 hour, we develop what's called, experts call social jet lag. Studies have shown social jet lag increases the risk of metabolic disorders such as diabetes, raises the risk for heart diseases and strokes, worsen mood disorders such as depression, affects the digestive and endocrine systems, and shortens our sleep duration. It even reduces life expectancies. In a 2003 study found getting 1 hour less of sleep for 2 weeks had the same effect on thinking and driving the motor skills, as going without sleep for 2 full nights.
That's insane.
Yeah, for 2 whole weeks of this whole idea of changing the time was equivalent to 2 whole nights without sleep. That's crazy. So it says reducing sleep by 90 minutes from the recommended 7 to 8 hours for an adult alters the DNA of immune cells and boosts inflammation, a key cause to chronic disease, according to another study. Let me say that again. So reducing sleep by 90 minutes from the recommended 7 to 8 hours for adults, that's us, right? Alters the DNA of immune cells and boosts inflammation, which is a key cause for chronic disease, according to another study. Making the time change permanent would make the chronic effects of any sleep loss more severe. Not only because we have to go to work an hour early for an additional 5 months every year, but also because our body clocks are usually later in the winter than in the summer, in reference to the sun clock. So the sun has its own clock, which is going to conflict with this whole idea of daylight savings, because the sun revolves. It's just a lot that goes to this, man. This is crazy. So the combination of daylight savings in the winter would therefore, daylight savings and the winter would therefore make the difference between the body clock and social clock, making that even worse, and would negatively affect our health even more, which is what the author says. My conclusion in the summary of all of this is that the human life cycle in today's world consists of a lot of distractions for the average person. In fact, a 2002 study shows that within an 8-hour day, there's about 60 interruptions, right? The average interruptions takes about 5 minutes. So that's about 5 hours out of the 8 where we are pretty much we're not focused, we're distracted, right? And if it takes 15 minutes to resume the interruption actively at a good level of concentration, this means that we're not even concentrating very well at all, right? Within 8-hour blocks, right? This clearly shows why our attention levels go unchecked and we live our entire lives unconscious of the attention our body needs. In the case in the case study that I mentioned earlier, the average American spends 93% of our lives indoors. That's 87% of our lives inside of a building, and another 6% on average inside of an automobile. That's the average person. So a lack of sunshine means a deficiency in vitamin D, which means your mitochondria is weakened, leaving you susceptible to different physical ailments, which also means that your cortisol levels are low, which can throw off your circadian rhythm and sleep cycles, which causes insomnia and hypersomnia, which will ultimately leave you with a seasonal affective disorder, which brings us here to where we are now in the holiday seasons.
But let's circle back around to something, right? Because when we think about SAD with the seasonal affect disorder, how many people in our community in general lack sleep, don't get good sleep, have never gotten good sleep, whether it's a social reason or whatever the case may be? So how many of us are also overdiagnosed with not with some mental health, or we don't know how to treat it, or potentially maybe we should use more holistic practices of actually going outside and grounding and those things that people think are just wild. I mean, because from those articles and the research that we were doing and talking about circadian rhythms, it just made me think personally, I know my circadian rhythm is off. I have, well, I think here recently I've gotten more sleep than I ever had.
Okay.
But like I had problems with insomnia for years. And so how many people, when you have that, instead of them giving other ways to treat it, they're like, take this medicine. And that medicine is going to cause something else to happen.
Yep. It just suppresses.
Right. It suppresses. So now you have more issues because you're not getting the sun and nobody's telling you, hey, just go outside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the factor, the things the environment has to offer, because it can heal you.
And they have light therapy too. Light therapy, you could actually buy lights, what they call LUTs. And LUTs is like, it's a type of light, but it's the distance from the light that you stand, which actually helps resets the mind, the brain. You see what I'm saying? But the best time to do it, from what they say, is if you buy one of these lights, the light gradually increases within like an hour or 2 hour span. So in the morning time, you could actually have it set to a schedule where, let's say your last 2 hours, you have to be up at like 7, so you set it for like 5 o'clock in the morning. And then they'll start off really low, and then it kind of fluctuates between green and blue, because you got your blue rays and you got your orange rays as well that the sun naturally gives off, right? So as it begins to gradually increase, you wake up into that, which automatically triggers your cortisols to start functioning when they're supposed to. You see what I mean? Which align you back into nature or your environment. You know what I mean? But so this light is actually something you can buy online. And I don't know how much it costs, but I was thinking about getting it too, because I don't get the best sleep either. I know my circadian rhythm all jacked up because I'm like, I'm always working, man. I'm always doing something. So, but I think you guys, I don't know what y'all think about all this, man. Like, what are your thoughts? Because I know we got like 15 minutes left, and I want to get you guys' thoughts before we close all the way out and transition into the open mic segment.
My fault is I need some more sleep.
Absolutely. So that's just the whole problem. I just need sleep. That's it.
Yeah. And again, we don't realize where our bodies are. We don't listen to our bodies, and we don't see the signs. And why does this happen? Why does that happen? And we get older, our age, and we're like, man, my back hurt. I wake up aching. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have all these different issues going on the older we get. But I think if we're more conscious of what our body is actually yearning for, growing into our age, then I think we'll be better off. Of course, exercising is good. Getting more sunlight, vitamin D is good. Just drinking a lot of water is good. Stuff like that, man. I think
a lot of us don't realize the silent killer is stress.
Yes.
Stress is that factor that causes sleep issues, depression, anxiety.
That throws the circadian rhythm off.
We stress. We stress every day in our lives. Wake up, gotta go to work. Gotta get the kids ready. You got money, you gotta get this, gotta pay bills. Bills ain't gonna get kicked out. Car ain't working. Think about it. Every day of your life, you stressing about something. It's a matter of how we control that stress.
Right.
To be able to, offset, like you said, suppressive therapy. It's one of the worst forms of therapy because they just this little you feel better,
suppress it,
Tylenol,
Band-Aid.
I feel better.
Yeah.
The next day you got issues with nerves and stuff. Constantly taking medications, another factor. It's not the end.
Absolutely.
Some of it helps, but
it's not a permanent resolution.
Eat right, exercise. And if we have these issues, just try. I think a lot of times it's. I think for you said earlier, people just go outside. Think about when you get stressed out, lonely, sad, depressed. Doing what? Kind of succumb.
Right.
Stay inside.
Stay in the dark.
Make yourself.
Support
is another. Have somebody support. Like, you gonna get up. You know what I'm saying? You gonna come out and make you walk down the street.
And have your game plan, right? Like if I'm going through something, these are the things that I need to do, and also, like I know even at work. So it was the Heart Association. They had their yearly luncheon that I went to, and they were talking about technically you're supposed to get up every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, you're technically supposed to have a break. Your body needs a break so that it can remain conscious and aware. And so even if it's just standing up, you should just stand up and look away from the screen at least 30 seconds to kind of like refresh yourself. So with these things, it's almost like the basics needs to be like, we need sleep. Like that's not something we can cut because so many times we'll cut into our own sleep. Like, oh, I got to do so and so and so. So I'm not going to get this rest today, or I'm going to get it by the end of the week. And then your body starts to show you, you're going to give it to me by choice or by force.
Right.
So would you rather me sit you down and force you to allow me to sleep, to rejuvenate myself? So I think if we knew more, or it was supported more, like think about it as kids, if we slept too long, they'd be like, all right, now y'all need to be productive. You need to do something. Maybe our bodies were really telling us maybe we're tired. Maybe we needed to rejuvenate something. Maybe our body's fighting something. So,
but what happens when you sleep too much though? Don't you wake up aching? Like
I mean, you can't be, sleeping 13, 14 hours now. then you wake up sleeping. Your body like, hey, because look, your body started releasing that extra melatonin. Now we understand because your body gave that extra melatonin. That's why you woozy.
That's why you woozy.
Because your body like, no, it's sleep time now. We done been a whole 12 hours again.
That's true.
Absolutely. Processed stuff.
So the body's trying to take that and convert it. The mitochondria. That's their job. Is to take all that and convert it with oxygen into energy to the body. But if it's bad stuff that we're taking in, then it's just converting bad stuff. You know what I'm saying?
One thing I've read somewhere a while back, man, is when I changed my lifestyle drastically last probably a year. I'm 44 now, so we up there. But what we eat is more so breakfast. We actually break into fast. That's what so we sleep in 6 to 8 hours, whatever we sleep. We wake up, the average person eat pancakes, bacon, eggs. That's like one of the worst things to start our day off. We are supposed to get stuff like fruits and veggies and some herbs and stuff like that to get us through that day. So that's why we wake up eating all that stuff by noon. We back to eating another burger or sandwich. Man, we just don't know, but depleting our whole ourselves. We're not feeding. We're supposed to be eating to live. Feed ourselves.
That's good. Eat to live.
We got conditioned to think that eat all this stuff that's really not doing anything for us, but causing the same problems.
That's true.
One more thing too. You talking about the circadian rhythm, right? So people who work third shift.
It's bad.
You know what I'm saying? And then I worked third shift for a while, for years. And like you were saying, you working at night, you're supposed to be sleeping. And then all the complications, like everything was just. You ever work third shift?
I did. We did a 4 on 4 off. Every 12, 7, 7. But still 7 p.m., 7 a.m. I did that for years.
That's what I'm saying. Your body just be off. You know what I'm saying? You get up and you like, man, I'm supposed to be. It's just like. It messed up. So many people that's working third shift, and they just like, man, like they don't know.
I work third shift. I love third shifts because I guess I always been a night owl, so I always was up. But then the funny thing is that when you get ready to go to work, it's already dark. When you get up, it's light. So what I started learning was do give myself enough light, enough darkness to go to sleep. But the sad thing is, when you do that, you wake up like I missed it time.
Your
body, and your 2 minutes, and I'll sleep for maybe 2 hours. I think it's already time to get ready to go to work, but my body starts, because I'm up on a certain level. It becomes when like you're paralytic. So I think
jumping out of your sleep.
I think that's the good thing and bad thing of like working third shift.
So what about the vitamin D? You know what I'm saying? When you're on the third shift, because you're supposed to be up, getting the sunlight, but you sleeping. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
a lot of them start giving you artificial vitamin D, right? Because now doctors are really avid component. They're avid.
drug dealer.
Yeah.
You said drug dealers?
I mean,
yeah.
I work in the pharmaceutical world.
I got you.
You know. I mean, it's nothing like the real thing,
That's
but I mean, I guess that's how they try to counterbalance it. But just listening to even like my friends, like that's one of the main things. That's what it starts with. Like the first thing they're like, oh, my doctor said I was vitamin D deficient or this or that. And a lot of cultures are like, go outside. Just go. Just take your run outside. Do this. You iron deficient, go eat some more beans. Like, all right, let's get this in the diet versus accepting some type of medication. And so I think we need to get back to how do we start to listen to our bodies for one, because our bodies will tell us a lot of times we just don't listen. Or we're like, I'm gonna push it to the extreme because I got something to do, versus you got something to do is gonna sit you down later. And so really learning how to pay attention to our bodies. And then now that we know better, you do better, right? Yeah. Like now that I know I'm supposed to be getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Was it 7 to 8 or 8 to 9?
7 to 8.
All right, I'm gonna try for the 7. I can't promise the 8, but I mean, just really being intentional, because so many times we just stretch ourselves too thin. We stretch ourselves too thin.
It boils down to this, I think we are the most undisciplined people.
Oh yeah.
That's the word. This is talking about vitamin D.
Deficiency, right?
Every aspect of my life.
Absolutely.
I'm sleeping. I can't. Talking about eating better. I can't exercise.
Right.
Thinking more positive, simple stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Boils down to this.
That's good stuff. That is good. That's good.
I know I like it, so I'm not like that.
Yeah.
You're not alone, bro.
Not at all.
I think with the sleep we gotta get, like we talking about suppression. We start suppressing ourselves because this getting sleep is not one thing, but we gotta eat right. How do we eat right? What do we do? Because I think the biggest thing is now when we start getting to the core of eating the right thing, it's hard to get it. Being where we live at. Our communities, it's going to get, they know we in poor communities. We're going to purpose is fried a banana and it's still 59 cents. We're going to take it because that's just affordable. How do we get the right things in our community? And how do we go about that? That's the next thing.
Another thing too is we got dollar stores popping up everywhere. Everything in the dollar store is trash. You know what I'm saying? Like you have convenience stores everywhere. Everything in there is trash. And I was a little bothered because I love Master P. I look up to Master P. You know what I mean? Entrepreneur, the dude is brilliant. You know what I mean? But then when he came out with this whole, like, I think he had a whole grocery store or something, or like a convenience store. He had like filled up a whole section in the convenience store of his product. And I'm like, process. Everything is processed. You know what I mean? Like, is that actually, I mean, good for business, but is that good for the people though? You know what I mean? And I was like, P, come on, bro. Like,
You would think you would at least,
it's all process stuff, man.
I think like I said, what we use to survival. Like I made a joke about the Master P stuff because everything he does is what chemistry in jail do, you believe it or not.
That's true. That is true.
Chips, you know what I'm saying? So everything.
Jail food, jailhouse food.
And that's when I recognize that, like, you can't not us because what he does, but at the same time, if this is what we're going to eat, why not eat from
one of us? Right.
And I think that's the bad thing. Like I said, we find the right people to give us the right food. Because you talking about herbs and everything. How do we get the right herbs? Right. And then how do we learn how to communicate with some of these places in all over the world? And we're going to get the right stuff, or they'll charge us more because we need it. Because that's the thing that we have to learn how to build the right regiments to build our community up in each other. Right. But the thing is, sometimes we don't operate like that. It's still about the dollar. Right. Like the pharmaceutical, the food. If we get the right food and think about it, you can't get seeds no more.
You
can't go
see the grapes,
because
it's watermelons.
None of that. It's actually what they're trying to stop from really limiting what it's supposed to because they want to continue those things themselves. I used to go to like Home Depot and that type of stuff. And they had a plant seed or stuff, but you can't really find them. They don't really want you to grow the right things. If you put it in an area, that's what some of the concrete is actually.
Home Depot don't have seeds now?
It wasn't why they wasn't getting them. I was trying to get seeds or something like that. It's going to come a time where we're going to have to grow our own stuff. And then I'm looking online. I can't find seeds nowhere. But then I'm like,
no, you're right.
And that's the thing. And then you look at some of our communities, it's not really dirt that they have, it's concrete. So how can we plant on concrete? We got to find the right areas to start building our community up and then build each other up. I mean, once we build each other up, we start learning. If we have a core of people that want to work together, we'll have a good success rate. So we'll get the right. So we know, okay, we can't depend on the grocery store. We go back and we'll put our own stuff and build our own stuff and start networking with each other. But sometimes we don't think about it. We think about us individually. And once we start coming as a community, like our forefathers, there will be a great turnout, honestly, with the sleep. Because we're not taking the drugs no more. The drugs only suppress us. What happens when if you get sick? You're gonna go ahead and go get some Tylenol, some Sudafed, some Theraflu. For what? Only to suppress you. Just like and the thing we've been suppressed more. Not only just with the vitamins of in TV, everything we've been suppressed. We've been programmed. So if we start realizing and recognizing what's really happening and start coming together, the conscious people and believe in each other and learn how to network properly, we're going to beat this.
Absolutely.
But that's why they keep programs to hate each other, to hit each other. Because in our streets, what are we doing? We taking from one another because what we get, what we've been programmed to do. I'm sorry. I mean,
it's good.
That's information. That's good.
I mean, it's all relevant. It all ties back into one another.
Yeah.
So, our action item.
You want to shout out Vanessa, say some of the stuff she got going on?
Oh, here. Vanessa. Hi, girl. All right. More sunlight and grounding, a better balanced diet, no electrons an hour before sleep, and no eating late in the night makes a heck of a lot of difference.
Hey, don't. So our parents was right. Put that phone up before you go to bed at night.
My daughter's pediatrician told me don't let her watch TV an hour before she goes to sleep. Yeah. Because some people will be like 30 minutes. She's like, no, a whole hour. Yeah. Because she was having an issue with not being tired, and so they started telling me to give her melatonin. Yeah. But dang, her whole circadian rhythm was off. Think about it though, because Madison would go to start getting tired at 1 o'clock in class or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and like you couldn't wake that baby up for nothing. Yeah. Like they were getting a principal, like why is this child not waking up? And then she would sleep so hard, like. Yeah. And this was a couple years ago.
Because every living organism, every living thing, cell, it all functions off of this clock. You know what I mean? So even our cells inside of our body has to function off of this clock. So will our cells get burnt out? Do they need rejuvenation? Absolutely. That's why we rest. That's why the melatonin flows back through the blood. You see what I'm saying? And it rejuvenates the cell and repairs the body. So like everything, man, like this stuff is good, man.
So being that we're gonna do part 2 on the 10th of December.
10th of December.
I'm feeling a couple action items, okay? I'm feeling like if we can consciously, right, at least for the next 2 weeks, it's just 2 weeks, right? Just be aware of how much sleep we're getting, right? Yeah. Maybe if we can notate it. It doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh, I got a whole 8 hours, but maybe I got 5 hours and 30 minutes and that was better than the 4 hours and 15 I was getting for the last 2 weeks. But being conscious and then checking in with ourselves, how do we feel? Do you feel better that you got that sleep? Like, what does that look like? Because then we can start resetting ourselves, right? And now we're thinking about, like, how are we breaking that fast? Are we breaking it with more natural items? Are we going to go grab that egg per se, or are we doing a piece of fruit? And then how are we balancing that throughout the day? Yeah. So I think, being consciously aware of how much sleep we're getting, and how we're breaking our fast, and then we can talk about it. Yeah,
and for third shifters, there ain't much you can do about it. You know what I mean?
I did look up the lights. The lights. Oh yeah. So the satellites, they start at like $17, so you can find them for like $17 on Amazon. Wow. Some cheaper ones. So, And it's crazy because the first time I ever heard about a satellite, I was working in insurance, and this was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And somebody was calling in, and they were like, "Why can't I get a satellite?" And I was like, "What's that?" And she was like, "My doctor says I need a satellite." And I was like, "Well, let me find out." Nope, I don't have a code for that. You got a procedure code for that. But this was when I guess they were first really ramping up people talking about using a light, and that it was a lack of light in certain areas. But if you think about it, you might go in certain areas and you don't feel comfortable per se. Like, for instance, my brother lives in Ohio. I love visiting Ohio. I know I would never live in Ohio. It's not enough sunshine for me. I just literally am like, it's dreary here a lot. This doesn't make me happy. I need to go back down south. Like, give me some more light, like, or Seattle where it rains a lot. Right. When you have a lot of places that are dark or dreary, I don't even do well in apartments that are dark. A couple of my apartments previously were dark. I need light. Like, I will open up every single window and be like, oh, where's some more? But those are our body kind of telling us and just making us aware what we think it's a preference. Maybe it's like your body's like, nope, I need this. Like, give me what I need. So let's work on being more aware, work on getting sleep, and thinking about how we breaking our fast so that we can chop it up in 2 weeks, talk about it, and see if we feel a little bit better, right? Because then we should be well into the process of kind of rebooting and resetting our circadian rhythm. Because then by the end of the year, we going in a new year brand new, y'all. We feeling all the way great. We don't need a new year resolution because we already did the work. Okay, we starting a month in advance, guys. So action item. Let's think about how much sleep we're getting. Okay.
Yeah.
What else you got?
So, I think that's about it.
I'm excited for part 2. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm gonna be virtual for part 2 because
I'm
taking my mommy on a cruise.
She's going on the cruise.
So I'm gonna be virtual, but no worries, guys. Y'all just see more stuff on the screen because I'm gonna be behind the screen and I can maneuver a little bit better. So we definitely can't wait to hang out with y'all for part 2 on the 10th. Again, we will be live at 1 p.m. Our networking session is the hour before, but if you come in person, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can network with us, okay? Absolutely. The Gator gonna be here by himself next time, okay? Somebody gotta keep him company. Y'all come keep my brother company, okay?
I'm gonna need y'all.
He gonna need y'all because
without
guys,
free,
okay?
It's lonely out here, y'all. So I'm gonna need y'all to pull
Lonely.
up. Shout out to Mina Rebel.
Yes, shout out to Mina. She made our dope shirts again, guys. Okay, what we say all the time: facts first, feeling second. Okay, which is again why we are always going to reference a source or article, because we want to make sure that anything that we supply or that we give to you all, you can research yourself, right? Yep. I mean, I know a couple people here knew my dad, and he was always like, "Don't believe what I say. I can lie to you." So, like, find it out for yourself. Find out why this works or what else can you do, because if we don't work to heal ourselves, nobody else is going to do it for us. Nobody else is going to save us. So we want to, whatever generational curses occurred, we want to reverse those.
That's right.
Be our own heroes. It's time, guys.
That's it.
All right.
That's what it's about.
Well, thank y'all for kicking it with a cool spot. It's your cool spot crew.
So let's do a transition. We're gonna have our open mic segment.
Okay.
You spitting today? What you doing?
Nah. Yep, both of them.
You just praying.
You can pray on camera. They might need a prayer. They might need a word. They might need a word today.
Right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring up our first. Matter of fact, you got a piece.
I got a piece?
Let me set up my camera real quick. I just gotta pull that and hold it back there.
Yeah, I got you.
You got one?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go ahead and let Free open this up.
Okay.
And then meanwhile, while she's getting set up,
yes,
I'm going to go grab my camera, and I'll be behind the scenes.
He'll be behind the scenes. Thank y'all for kicking it with me.
Thank you guys so much. This was a great episode. Next time, please show up. Please be in person. It's a different experience in person, man. You guys got to be here. We are selling tickets, $10. But moving forward, what we're going to do is we're going to just do because we're doing our networking social from 12 to 1. If you can get here between 12 and 1, you can get in for free. You know
what? You said free?
Absolutely.
FREE, like my name.
So you can get in for free if you get in between 12 and 1 o'clock. Right? Mm-hmm. Our podcast starts from 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 3, we do our open mic segment and our headliners. All right. So starting on the 10th, come in before 1 o'clock p.m. and we'll just welcome you with open arms. You know what I mean? We'll welcome you with open arms. All right. So definitely, thank you guys. I'm gonna hand over to Free, grab my camera, get set up. We need some promo work. All right.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Well, I feel like I forgot this was 2 separate couches, and I nicely slot. I did. I'm just gonna stay right here because I'm perfectly in the middle. Hi guys. Give me a second because I didn't plan to go today. How y'all feeling? We appreciate y'all coming by and stopping by and kicking it with us per usual. But it definitely is a different shindig when we're in person because we get to cut up for real. Like, we cut up already, but it's a different type of shindig. So by the way, let me go ahead and run y'all 2 dates. Okay. So the remaining 2 dates for this year are going to be December 10th and then New Year and then Christmas Eve. And I know it's like Christmas Eve, but like what else you got to do? You're gonna be in town with family. Come on by. It's a pre-family reunion. Okay. So it's right. What else you got to do? Come on, kick it with us. But okay. Let's go. Let's go here. All right. You are the compilation prize to the. All right. The Haitian told me to hold on, y'all. You don't got enough promo with me? I feel like you already got a poem you can cut up, and I don't think it was bad either.
It was bad. Are you ready?
Am I? Does my hair look okay? Because, you don't be prepping me right. Lily, I look all right. I'm cool. She ain't going to let her auntie look crazy. You going to let me look crazy. I mean, you look fine, free. Okay.
I want to sit this up on something. Hold on, free.
Y'all, are y'all cold in here? Jesus, it is cold. I feel like the AC is on.
Some vitamin D.
I'm about to go outside right now. Don't even worry about it. Let me catch my quick 20 minutes.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Y'all, sorry if my face look crazy. I'm just giving it. All right. You are the compilation prize to the drawing that they never ever knew that you entered. Your smile causes the ground to shake. They stand in awe of your raw beauty. The intensity and aspiration mixed in watercolors marks your sheet music to be cascaded upon their memories. You are that 5 a.m. automatic coffee brew, nudging them ever so gently to begin their day. You are soothing to the palate with every sip you take. You are rich, robust, and full-bodied. You're intelligent. Your intelligence is equivalent to Van Gogh's masterpiece, each brushstroke upon paper alluding to your ideas and dreams, ending with a magnificent compounding piece, a resting place. Known for dreams collided head-on with your ideas, you are obtainable. Yet not with ordinary techniques. You are like a jigsaw, not willing to release all your puzzle pieces. For using better judgment causes you not to put all eggs in one basket, so no one can Rubik's your cube. For your emotions, or your emotions from your dictations, you are a challenge. Like when playing spades and your hand is trapped tight, cutting the mayhem from your life, one book at a time. This compilation piece was the thing you never knew you inspired to have, yet you can't live without. Thanks.
I love it, free. That was fly.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't even be serious. Right, are you about to come? You want me to hold it so you can? Are you spitting?
No, I'm chilling.
It was the audacity. Yeah.
I don't have any. Well, I guess I could, but I don't.
It was the audacity, guys. You heard that?
You want to hold it?
Okay.
I'll do one piece.
Okay.
I got you.
Again, shout out to my sister on these shirts. Y'all see this shirt? This thing saucy. Y'all want one? Y'all should get y'all a cool spot shirt.
Wait, don't walk away like this.
Sorry, guys. Somebody had walked past the door. But yeah, y'all should get y'all. That's probably what we should have done, Limo. Put a cool spot crew at the bottom. Like that was the statement we said. Yeah. It's okay. Next time. It's always more shirts.
Yeah. It's all good. All right, so man, let me know. I had to dig for something here. I can do the yes you are joint. All right.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You ready?
Dedicating your piece?
Yeah. Nah. So you. I mean, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm sorry.
So. Here we go. Yes, you are. Stupid.
All right, now be serious.
All right. Here we go. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. This is an inside thing. I'm sorry. Here we go. All right. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. See, you are the cure. The only one I see myself compared to. My ride or die love bug. We flying high, catching air views. Aerials too. My heart cartwheels when I'm near you. Fluttering kicks in the summer pool that's clear blue. See, she is my bundle of love, my colors of love, and coming with the bundle of balloons surrounded by radiance, it's love. And our surrounding is gradient, all purple royalty, book smarts, living the real life novelty. The missing ribbon me still bruised but fits perfectly. See, we both still healing together, but collectively we stand as a masterpiece. Peace, queen. She is my beautiful. She is my. Oh my goodness! I missed it. I lost it.
She is your.
We stand as a masterpiece. Here we go. Let me go back. Let me start. Can I start over? Yeah. I'm gonna start over. Let me just start over. I'm sorry, y'all. Here we go. All right. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. See, you are the cure. The only one I see myself compared to. My ride love boy. We flying high, catching air views. Aerials too. My heart cartwheels when I'm near you. Fluttering kicks in the summer pool that's clear blue. See, she is my bundle of love, my colors of love, in common with the bundle of balloons surrounded by radiance is love. And our surrounding is gradient, all purple royalty, book smarts, living a real life novelty. The missing rib in me still bruised but fits perfectly. See, we're both still healing together, but collectively we stand as a masterpiece. Peace, queen, beautiful mind, beautiful spirit, my Nefertiti, my rod and my tight rope, my balancing scale with no slopes, the wires to my speaker compressed power. She is my, how do I say as I reminisce? My subcomponent. Yeah. Oh. My battery pack, back strapped like a terrorist. When me and you come together, we cover grounds like imperialists. See, our cereal lists be like politics and goals, almond milks and bowls to properly digest the words that were told. Meanwhile, we both lactose but tolerant. Relationships made us different. Rewind. Now we model it. Lactose but tolerant. So meanwhile, we both lactose but tolerant. Relationships made us different, but now we model it. We both have pivotal views and trepidous moves. The way she love on me special and it's effortless too. The voice of an angelic being, although too bashful to sing, bruh. She the type to hold me when I cry and still call me a king. Yeah. You felt that one. That's my part. So conscious conversations stay open to keep the chains off. Hard talks and bites our shell to keep the pain off. We'll never walk as nemesis, walk on the same lines. Boy, how time flies when our time displays limitless. It's mine. The short distance between us has to cease one day. The colors of my rainbow seems gray when you far away. That's Billy Ocean. Billy Ocean, y'all. Cause you're the baby, the real baby, not Kirk. Apprehensions of what it felt like to being left in the dirt. But baby, let me process this, because see, you are my left brain and right wing. We both been through enough now to know how to do the right thing. Let's breathe. Thank you. I do that one in a minute. Okay. I'm all over the place.
It's the bundle of love. I feel like you're about to start speaking in Creole. Like, I'm like, talk it in.
All right, who's next? Introduce yourself, poet. James.
Oh, dang.
Come on, man. You say you do it all, right?
Most definitely. But I'm going to do something different, though.
Okay, go ahead.
I got to sit over there?
Yeah, you got to sit over there, yeah. We get promo. We get some promo.
Okay, is anybody on the screen or no?
There's like a few people that's like...
No, I might need you on that side, man, because I'm going to do something different.
Okay.
What I'm going to do, hip-hop.
Yeah.
Freestyle, but I'm going to freestyle my poetry. Okay. And then I'm going to let them sit through it. I can't see it. I'm going to ask you to just give me the words that they're saying. So y'all can throw words at me. I'm going to go.
Oh, you going to do it like that? Okay.
No, I mean, if you rap,
they want you, so you want them to feed you the words, you're going to freestyle.
I'm going to do a poem with the words he's saying.
Oh, snap. We got an audience for that.
That's how many. Even you guys can see the words.
Okay. So. All right, did y'all catch that? So we're gonna. My brother James. What's your artist name, James? You got an artist name?
It's called me Seven.
Seven.
Yeah.
Seven. My boy Seven. He's gonna freestyle for us, and he said he wants you guys to feed him the words while he puts the words to his poetry, his piece, or his freestyle. All right, and we have an audience for that too. So,
That's
audience, y'all good? Y'all down with that?
Right.
We good with that?
Right.
All right. Let's go. Let's do it.
So, someone throw me a word.
What's the
Pardon? Facts is real, like soul for real. The song that I think of when I came to you, Rain the Pain, is more than just a fact or fiction, but then it's more than just a listen of the song the lovebirds make. When I take the heart of anything that I take, it makes more than clay, but molded. How can I see peace? If there's no way I can see peace without you and me, that heaven sent the words of melodies of your love, sweet tender kisses, like that old song that we used to sing back in the day. But hey, all I do is think of you. Somebody throw me another word.
Give me dirt.
That's dirt that was created, but now I'm lifted. More than just a man, but I'm splendid through the Christ that gave you Jesus the world. But we give it what to the first man, the human creation. But now we more than just dirt, more than hurt, more than pain, more than pardon?
Destiny.
My destiny is real because I was created from dirt. Then the fact is I'm more than what they used to say. I pray to God for better, but then it reigns supreme. But there's more than the rain. That the rain comes from the earth, but it's REING. But I still see more than the mental collective people. Now I still stay strong, but that's nothing to hold on without you.
Give me couch.
The couch supports me, but you more than I sit on. More than a potato, couch potato, but your love is more than fatal. It's gunshots to the heart, but then you heal me, you stitch me. I was broken, but I found you, my love.
Garden, bro.
My secret garden. It's more than secret that we talk about. It's just more intertwined with the life of just some blurred lines, but blurred lines we come back. We was found in garden. It's like Adam and Eve, but we got more than this garden that we create. More than plants and fruits and vegetables. There's more than the sun, the rays between H2Os and H2Os, but then we go back to staticos. That's under because under costanda bayasi ecosa. But when I say go back, it's like we go back like waves. The waves that we fly through the Garden of Eden, but now we was protected. Now we've been reflected on what God calls to be humanity. We must be more than just this. Wants to say peace sign, but peace, my love, my queen, my earth, my sun. Sitting through mysteries, but now I sit back and then I look at this like my couch potatoes are like
building.
The building is maybe 6 feet tall, but they like to run back and forth. But I don't need an escalator. I just take the steps because if I miss a step, I go back. But if I take an elevator, it's time for me to get jammed. I don't want to get jammed to nothing. I just want to get loose to what they said was life is like a truth.
Okay.
Facts is fiction, fictions and more. But I say without reign supreme, but it's like daydream, but they can't buy me love. But love is not a game of fair. Of love and war, we conquer it all through it all. We see what it is.
Give me circadian rhythm.
The circadian rhythm. We talking about all kinds of things, but now we got to get back to sleeping. And when I sleep, my melatonin release, but then I daydream about you, and then we think about what we can do. More than just a scheme. It's more than what we say what it was. Life is a mystery, but I see you, but I don't see you without me.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
All right,
I like it. You got something else you want to do? You got another piece? You got something you memorize, or that's just how you flow right there?
I ain't have my other phone, so I just
okay. I got you. You just freestyle. You freestyle. Okay. Tell people how they can find you. What's your name and how they can find you? If you're on social media.
I just say you can find me on Facebook, Seven Jackson, and that's me. So I appreciate everybody. It's been a blessing, been an honor to be before you all. It's a salute.
Salute, King. Thank you, man.
It's a blessing, man.
Good stuff. Shay?
Oh, no, man. I was just on some.
What's his artist name? Chaz?
You've been making me perform for how long?
Hold on. What's his artist name? Chaz? Is it Chaz? We'll call up our headliner, and headliner, when you come up, share who you are, how people can find you, and we'll break his up into parts. So yeah, all right. So at this time, we're gonna call up our headliner, Ajani Kambón. Is it Kambón or Kambón? Hey man, thank you, bro. Thank you for joining us today, man.
You was like, I said it right.
Shall I do it again?
Yes, do it again.
All right, let me do it again. All right, so at this time we are going to go into our headliner, and at this time we're going to let our headliner pause. So at this time we're going to allow our headliner free. All right, you so extra. All right, here you go. At this time we're going to call up our headliner, Ajani Kambón. Y'all give it up for my brother, my king. All right, good stuff, man. Hey, take over, brother. It's yours.
All right. Hey, first of all, appreciate everybody being here. Thanks for the opportunity. Is this is recorded, right? This is,
yes.
Okay. Am I looking at both of them?
No, I mean whichever.
Okay. All right. I'm Ajani Kambón. I could be reached at from Facebook. It's Ajani AJANI KMBON. What's my IG? Ajani _Kambón 13. And I got a Twitter, but I don't be using it. So I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm an author, poet, do a little acting, a couple stage plays, a little a lot of acting, a little bit. Little movie cameo I did last year, but so I'm finding comfort in being, on the stage performing, in terms of like a stage play. Although I gotta get my heart goes to poetry. That's where it all started. So I got a couple of pieces. First piece I'm gonna do is Behind Enemy Lines. Well, kind of touching, in terms of, where we are, what we talked about today as far as the topic. So I figured this would be a good one. And it's off memory, so I don't want to. I think I got it.
You got it.
Know what? It's finally time to set the record straight. Constant cries of the world's coming to an end, even utters of time is on our side. So what's the reason we hesitate? Time does not exist. See, it's merely of the essence. Exploitation and extermination objectifies genocide. Attribute that to the nations. Nubians are considered a gift to the world as a global majority. So please explain the lack of presence. No pun intended. Caught up in the return of Jedi mind tricks, only seems this version is extended. Captive souls remain unbended, knees with their eyes wide shut. We need to be putting our thoughts together and conjuring up some smart ways. Not focus on where the heart is, that's home. However, we should zone in on where the heart stays. In a world where people come and go like a cheap mind to a perverted prostitute trying to make a cent. The type where he came to get his fix and then off he went. Off he went into the sunset, just distant like fathers to their seeds, continuing to perpetuate self-annihilation through all types of selfish and no good deeds. We are at war where on Sundays, little boys get molested while little girls learn to hold down a house without a father. Figure this is the only way things could be. Considering the hand that was dealt, then what only way things should be. Considering the hand that was dealt, then what could be any worse than remaining in the crosshairs of deception, overshadowed by greed, lust, and envy. The glitch in this matrix is similar to the times of ancient Babylon. Behind enemy lines with no grip on reality is like riding on a horse with no saddle on. Thank you. I haven't actually performed poetry in a while, so I'm gonna do another one called it's one of my favorites actually, Distractions. And this really has a lot to do with, I think our mindset and where we are as a people and where we can go. What the topic was that Free and Lamore talked about today as far as this days we're living in. They say that you never really know a good thing until it's gone. So just what it is. I mean, what is it that clouds that part of the brain that controls the eyes? What it is, what is it that causes us to lose focus? Using basic math, add up all the energy spent on nonsense, then subtract that by how many times you've allowed shit to continue. Now multiply that by how much you've been told or shown evidence to the contrary. Divide that number by 1, and you're left with a multitude of fractions. You see, it's distractions that distorts your reality. So what it is, What is it that causes the mental to hop in the driver's seat down a roadway in a dark tunnel with no headlights? A place where your speech can make you a headliner, your so-called freedom taken as you become an Arrested Development without being read rights. It's almost as if opportunity is standing right in your face, staring at you eye to eye. That's a little pinketh. You do know that as a man thinketh, then so he is. I mean, so is he. But there is no he without the she. And there's no we without the double you. That means reflection. Let me explain if I won't trouble you. You see, a reflection is a counterpart, a representation, an image of another you. Now, in the fast-paced, chaotic, and destructive world of dysfunctionality, what causes so much friction? Perhaps it's the process by which one bounces around from person to person, searching for that soulmate, called relationship addiction. And speaking of diction, allow me to enunciate. Let me proclaim. I don't need matches to spark no flame. My words can be used as propane to all those hoping and wishing on a brighter day. There's one thing that I must mention. Not everyone deserves your attention. You see, some are just sent to perpetuate your hardships, to keep you oppressed. Well, I call those types distractions. Those meant to delay your progress. Appreciate it, y'all. Y'all love. Thank you. I'll do one more. So this is actually, those two are relatively old, a couple of years, but this one is the most recent. I had to find time to do this show last year, Mother's Day show that Camille and I did. So this is the last one I wrote. It's called As She Slept. As she slept, I gazed at her divine feminine conjuring thoughts of walking 1,000 miles across the burning sands, holding hands, feeling the warmth of her smile. We walked and talked and walked and talked, captivated by the rays of the glorious sun, reminiscing about our wise ancestors that graced the same sand that our bare feet treaded. Her intellect and emotions, coupled with her strong desire to persevere, is nothing short of inspiration. As she slept, I kissed every inch of her bodily dimension, rubbing my masculine hands everywhere that could be touched, as if I played the role of that mighty sun that beamed down, providing that heavy concentration of melanin. Massaging her crown chakra, sliding my fingers through her locks that intertwine, symbolizing the conflicts of the struggles for liberation, freedom, equality, and justice. As she slept, as she slept, I envisioned myself as the main character in her dreams. It seems as if I have been waiting an eternity to land my first starring role, a role that I have been preparing for, practicing line after line, stumbling upon words and phrases, confusing body language with body chemistry like the rich soil from our cable line. As she slept, I wondered just how many licks it would take to get to the center of her core. I wonder how many picks it would make to complete her completeness. You see, her uniqueness is oh so attractive. She laid peacefully, tossing and turning so gently. I inhaled the breath from her nose, sucking in fragments of her spirit. She moaned at the sounds of my thoughts, almost as if she could hear the echoes of my wisdom. She smirked, smiling, opening that one eye as if she was winking in confirmation. Good morning. But those are her first words as I began to tell her everything. Tell her everything I adore about the beauty of her presence. Everything I admire about what we could become. Tell her the parts of her soft body that I began to tell her everything. Tell her every thought that I manifested as she slept. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Good? Good? Thank you. Excuse the stumbles and all that.
We don't
appreciate that.
Nothing.
Once again.
That's authentic.
Yeah. But thank y'all again both for having me here, for doing this show. Y'all keep doing it, man. We've been tight for some years now, so I'm here to support. Love y'all both. All right, thank y'all. Yes, sir.
Thank you, bro. Oh yeah. All right, well.
Well, Free, you got no? You want?
Hold on one second. I'm sending Ajani this one.
Okay.
Oh.
Cheers. We got another artist in here named Cheers.
Next time I pull up,
Cheers over there playing.
Cheers. Word. Let me see. Do I have another one? I can do another one. I got one more.
Okay.
I'll do a king's mentality. All right, here's here you go. You ready?
No, go ahead.
All right. So I have another piece here called A King's Mentality. I'll take this one more serious. Yeah, I wasn't ready.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not joking this time.
Yeah.
Not gonna distract you.
All right, here we go. See, I am the tip of that heater you had to strike to smoke that hookah. The soothing sound before the snooze, the set bar, that ruler, that midpoint after pride, but came before destruction. Because I took so many losses, but bounced back like bungees. I'm a piece of that crown from King Tut. I'm talking legacy with the gold finger on the colorful journey without a sweet strut. Others deemed and tried to carry the same, but seemed stuck. Non-verbal agreements, more like contract ducks. That nod on a hot day we used to say, what's up? That global warming on the playing field while those gerbils look really stuffed. Groundhogs take cover as I surface like the sun, intellectual street hitter, because you don't know if I got a gun. I am made in the image and likeness of thee. I am that, comma, I am. Get the picture? I'm 15 till that hour before 10. That short arm to help you remember what that 9 was for. So you want to slap 5, but that 4 brings you back to 9, while a simple prayer from the divine to help that arm recline its fire. I know it's 2 degrees below. I took charge of my perimeter. My worst day, 2 degrees short, freezing temperature, just cold. The information portal that'll take you into your own future. Those old cuts are unknowingly healed with Invisaligns and needles we call sutures. All standards are set to 1 degree. See, the second and the first is great, but the top is extraordinary. What's in that flush after a handful of prunes on a sick day? That volume of bald head chick sees the weekend of income tax day. That red on one side merges with blue, making purple. The living image of sound in the flesh and pure royalty. Displaying my own crown setting, pushing over that back row checkered piece. King. That rook that'll slide on you and pray for you on the spot. That kamikaze pawn that'll fight for you and carry a few shots. That knight that'll carry a shield and bear arms. That bishop that'll find angles to infiltrate your discrepancies. With the loyalty of a queen, but with moves that's trilateral. You know, bishop, rook, knight, queen, moves is all. Yeah. But people don't know a king's mentality covers every piece of the card. That's all, y'all. I'm done. Thank you. Thank you.
I gotta make sure my stuff is appropriate, guys. See, back in the day, you know what type of poet I was. All right. I got 2 snippets for y'all. Cool?
Okay.
All right. I was taught that coloring in the line was for amateurs, that life could merely be lived in the confines of sight, but that we must see the imperfections as beautiful mishaps, that imperfections were God's footnotes, and the detail was oh so in-depth. Each imperfectly needed its own small print. That every stray line was a hidden message, that once the cipher could catapult someone into their next level. I was told to not waste broken pencils, for they were much more than tools for writing, so that they could even inspire the tree to reach its potential to see all that it could be. I was informed to never allow wrinkled paper to be more valuable than conversations, for they both make memories, and living in the future was much bigger than the past, that my conversations won't fall on deaf ears like this paper upon desk. All right. He learned to be a man. He needed to feel his way through it. Fuck his way through it. Divide thighs and tease his way through it. I was taught to be warm man. I needed to love my way through it, to take broken pieces and make masterpieces, to take glass shards as reminders that I can feel while shielding you from it. I was taught that my womb was space for your seed, that when you were done spewing your oats upon the land, that you would return and bless me. Never was I told to enjoy the essence I was told to be wet nurse while keeping hot meals in tow and your bed warm. I was taught to be loose self in you. I was taught to lose myself in you, but I deserved a bit of that too. See, what if man was created to crave me as in the motherly figure, like the sculpting of a superhero, mirrored? To be continued. My bad. I forgot I had bad. I sent my bad word in there. I try not to cuss when I do stuff at the cool spot, guys. So cuss or get too erotic.
You tried?
I tried. I did. I was like, I mean, Limo, that might say you know them other pieces. Yeah, I think that's about it, guys. I don't know. I think so. Yep. Anybody else got anything? Our hearts and mind clear?
Can I do one more?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Right, y'all inspirational day, guys. Come on now.
Can you get toward the middle?
All right, the name of this piece is called "Distinguish Me."
Mm.
The storm has come. Yet wash everything away in my path. Destroying all I've ever known, no remembrance, no existence. Patiently tracing my steps. Gathering all what I know, all that I can. Only thing I can gather was this familiar pain, echoing like a migraine. My heart throbbing, creating its own cadence. This rhythmic torture causing a hellish scorcher. On the quest to bring relief, I find you. I ask you one question. Will you distinguish me?
Oh. I like that.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh.
You got
We ain't gonna beat you. Don't mess with me. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You closing how you want me to do it? Okay. Well, guys, it's that time, guys. It's time for so long. But thank you all for checking in with the Cool Spot today. I am your co-host, Free the Poet. Limo's behind Lily's behind the camera. He's just to the side, guys. But we appreciate y'all checking in today and rocking with us. Again, we'll be back on December 10th. I will be virtual, but I'll be here, guys. Okay, I'll make sure y'all see my face. Okay. So thank you again for checking in. We thank Ajani for stopping through and blessing us per usual. We appreciate everyone else that showed up today, blessing the mic. Thank you all for just everything that y'all give and feed into us. Again, shout out to Mina Rebelized Vintage for all your needs, okay? For all your embroidery. Not embroidery. It's not considered embroidery, is it? No, because it's not stitched. For all your shirt needs. Shirts, hoodies. but on some real stuff, she does different holiday items as well. Blankets, personalized blankets, and quilts. So whatever you need, make sure you tap in with her as well. We'll see y'all next time, okay? Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Get some rest, right? Well, we said 7 to 8 action items. Get some rest. We're going to talk about it, okay? We're going to see how that rest is going in 2 weeks. And then focus on what we're consuming when we're breaking our fast, okay? So we can chop it up, have some good conversations, and talk about how we building, okay? All right, we'll catch y'all next time. Later.